There is a fight over the world's most advanced fighter jet. It's the F-22's stealth Raptor.
And Tamron, some lawmakers are pressuring the Defense Department to keep buying the stealth jet. But even the Secretary of Defense says you have 187 of them, and that's plenty. Now Representatives Barney Frank and John Tierney of Massachusetts have filed an amendment that would reverse last week's decision by the House Armed Services Committee to spend $369 million for 12 more of the jets. Joining us is the Republican congressman from Georgia, Phil Gingery, who's a former member of the House Armed Services Committee and a major supporter of the F-22, and Jon Soltz. He's an NBC News Bureau here in Washington, an Iraq war veteran and chairman of the VoteVets.org. Congressman Gingery, the Secretary of Defense says we don't need these jets. Why do you think we do?
Well, I think the Secretary of Defense is wrong. I think we need them because of what the Air Force has said repeatedly. And over a 15-year period, 30 different air combat campaigns studies showed that we absolutely need 381 of these planes and not 187.
Jon Soltz, your view.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. You know, I mean, I don't. The congressman actually represents Columbus, Georgia, which is the Fort Benning, Georgia, where there's ground combat. You know, guys like me were in Iraq. We didn't have enough body armor. We didn't have enough armored trucks. All you got to do is go on my Facebook page and get the emails from people saying the 115s in Afghanistan aren't holding up, and they want to spend money on 12 new air-to-air combat, a plane that's only air-to-air combat. I mean, we haven't had air-to-air combat in this country since the first Gulf War. The congressman, maybe he should stop watching Top Gun and start watching what's happened to his own constituents. This is ridiculous. And it's not just me. It's the president. It's groups who are working with VoteVets, True Majority, U.S. Action. This is a waste of money and doesn't do anything to help us win these wars.
Let me just say, I want to thank the gentleman for his service, the infantryman, the home of the infantry at Columbus, Georgia, and I did represent that. And of course, the ground troops are so important. But of course, we're cutting the future combat system. We're cutting our national defense, missile defense program by $1.2 billion. And the air superiority that we have with the F-22 Raptor is paramount. The Russians and the Chinese are developing a
exactly the Russians and the Chinese.
And let me say something here, David. Superiority.
I didn't fight any Russians and I didn't fight any Chinese in Iraq, okay? The fact of the matter is that we have complete air and naval superiority against any conflict, against any person in the world. And when the congressman was on the Armed Services Committee, he did nothing to challenge the Bush administration to ensure that his constituents had everything that they needed in combat. I can't say it enough. People email every day to me from Afghanistan that the M115 is not enough. It's a cat and mouse game in Iraq. We get up armored. They have armor penetrating type equipment. We need tactical equipment. We need to revamp the Striker Force. Nobody's saying cut money. That's not what the president wants to do. We want to spend money on stuff that's going to keep our people alive in combat.
Congressman, here's the bigger question. If the F-22 was so important, how come we haven't used any of them yet?
Well, you could say the same thing, of course, about our submarines with our ballistic missiles. You could say the same thing about our ICBMs. I have a 44 Magnum that I keep under my pillow every night for the last 15 years. Everybody in my neighborhood knows I've got it, and I haven't had to use it. That's the same thing with this F-22 Raptor. We have to make sure that our adversaries know that we have the capability of air superiority, and if we let our guard down, then we're going to give it to the Chinese and the Russians.
Congressman, what about the argument that you're only doing this because of jobs, because somehow this would help with jobs in your district if the F-22 keeps going?
Well, I hope nobody in this day and time is suggesting that jobs are not important. We're talking about 25,000 direct, 75,000 indirect. We're talking about 1,000 vendors in 44 states. Absolutely jobs are important, but the defense of this country is first and foremost. But you can't ignore the fact that if you cancel this program, you're going to eliminate 100,000 jobs. And I don't think you wouldn't think the commander-in-chief would want to do that.
Jon Soltz, 10 seconds. You get the last word.
Yeah, look, I mean, jobs are important. I mean, for years I heard we couldn't get enough up-armored Humvees to Iraq because the civilian capacity couldn't build it quick enough. No one's saying cut jobs here, cut jobs there. It's about how we spend our money, and the congressman cares about the Lockheed-Martin stock price, and I care about the men and women who fight on the ground. And this weapon system does nothing for us. The F-35 is made the same place the F-22 is, and we need more F-35s. It's an air-to-ground system, so I don't really think jobs is an issue here at all.
They're complementary planes. They don't do the same thing. It's like comparing F-15s and F-16s.
Well, Congressman, we appreciate you coming on. Jon Soltz, we appreciate you as well. Thank you both. A feisty debate, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Glad to be with you. Wow.